everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Tony Hutchinson devastated his estranged wife Diane on Hollyoaks today, January 1, as he made a big announcement. The couple split during the Channel 4 soap's one-year time jump, with Tony beginning a relationship with Marie Fielding in the ensuing weeks. The estranged pair were brought back together after their son, Ro, had begun drinking, though Diane used the opportunity to get closer to Tony by lying and saying she was the one who had relapsed. Her deceit was discovered recently, and she paid a price as Tony revealed in the episode that he would be moving out of the family home, further confirming that he intended to take Ro with him. "Is it not enough that you broke up the family in the first place? Now you want to take Ro with you," said an emotional Diane, with Tony replying by saying that the issue arose after Diane had fate or relapse. Tony explained that the pair should leave aside their personal feelings for each other in order to help Ro overcome his drinking habit, with Tony questioning if living in a pub was really the best course of action. Diane informed Ro of Tony's decision, apologizing in the process for her actions and saying a change of scenery would be good for him. Despite admitting that it would be tough for the pair of them, they both agreed with the move. Tony later thanked Diane for being welcoming regarding the change, though she balked when he revealed that they would be moving in with Marie. Ro also didn't look too pleased when Arlo, who has been bullying him recently, helped with his baggage. Tony Hutchinson had always been the steadfast rock of Hollyoaks, a constant presence in the village's ever-changing whirlwind of drama. Over the years, he'd been through it all: love, loss, betrayal, and redemption. Diane O'Connor, his wife, had stood by him through thick and thin. But today, as the winter sun filtered through the Hutchinsons' kitchen window, the air was thick with tension, the calm before the storm. Tony paced the room, his face etched with worry. Diane sat at the kitchen table, her brow furrowed. She had noticed his unease for weeks, the way he'd avoid her gaze, the long nights at the dog, and the countless times he'd start a sentence only to trail off. Now she was done waiting. "Tony, for heaven's sake, just spit it out," Diane said, her voice tinged with both frustration and concern. Tony stopped pacing and turned to her. His eyes, usually filled with warmth, were clouded with uncertainty. He took a deep breath, the words sticking in his throat like shards of glass. "Diane, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "I've gathered that," she replied, crossing her arms. "What is it? Is it about the restaurant? Or the kids? You're scaring me, Tony." Tony hesitated, his mind racing with how to deliver the bombshell he'd been sitting on. Finally, he sat across from her, reaching for her hands. Diane's heart sank. Whatever he was about to say, it wasn't good. I've sold the Hutch," Tony admitted, his voice trembling. Diane's eyes widened in shock. "You what?" she exclaimed, pulling her hands away. "Tony, you can't be serious. That's our livelihood. That's your dream." "I know, Diane, I know," Tony said, running a hand through his hair. "But things have been tough. The debts have been piling up, and with everything that's happened this past year, I couldn't see another way out." Diane's face turned red as anger bubbled to the surface. "And you didn't think to discuss this with me? We're supposed to be a team, Tony. How could you make such a huge decision without me?" "I was trying to protect you," Tony shot back, his own frustration spilling over. "I didn't want you to worry. I thought I could fix it on my own." Diane stood, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Protect me? By blindsiding me with this? Tony, we've been through so much together. Do you really think I can't handle the truth?" Tony stood as well, his eyes pleading. "I'm sorry, Diane. I thought I was doing the right thing. But the truth is, I've been drowning. The restaurant was failing, and I didn't know how to save it. Selling it was the only way to keep us afloat." Diane turned away, gripping the edge of the counter for support. Her mind raced with 1,000 thoughts. The Hutch was more than a business. It was a cornerstone of their family's life. And now it was gone. Who did you sell it to? She asked quietly, not turning around. Tony hesitated before answering. James Nightingale. Diane spun around, her eyes blazing. James? Are you kidding me? That man only looks out for himself, Tony. He'll gut the Hutch and turn it into some soulless money-making machine. He offered the best deal, Tony said defensively. And he's promised to keep the name and the spirit of the place intact. Diane shook her head, disbelief written all over her face. And you believed him? Tony, how could you let this happen? Their argument was interrupted by the sound of the front door opening. Sinead, their daughter, walked in, her face lighting up when she saw her parents. But her smile quickly faded when she sensed the tension in the room. What's going on? She asked, looking between them. Tony and Diane exchanged a glance. Neither wanted to burden their daughter with the weight of their troubles, but the truth was already out. Your dad has sold the Hutch, Diane said, her voice flat. Sinead's eyes widened. What? Why? Dad, you love that place. Tony sighed. I didn't have a choice, sweetheart. It's been struggling for a while now. I'm sorry. Sinead shook her head in disbelief. This doesn't make any sense. Why didn't you tell us? Maybe we could have helped. Because I didn't want you to worry, Tony said, his voice breaking. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. Diane took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She turned to Sinead. Can you give us a moment, love? Sinead hesitated before nodding and leaving the room. Once she was gone, Diane faced Tony again. I don't know how to move forward from this, she admitted. You've made me feel like I don't matter in our marriage, like my opinion doesn't count. Tony's shoulders sagged under the weight of her words. That's not true, Diane. You matter more to me than anything. I was just so scared of failing you, of failing our family. Diane's expression softened, but the hurt remained. Tony, we're supposed to face these things together. That's what marriage is about. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your own. Tony nodded, tears welling in his eyes. You're right. I've made a mess of things and I'm so sorry. I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Diane reached out, taking his hands in hers. We'll figure it out, Tony. But you have to promise me no more secrets. We're in this together, for better or worse. Tony nodded, pulling her into a tight embrace. For the first time in weeks, he felt a glimmer of hope. The road ahead would be difficult, but together, they could face anything. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.